Okay, see the lines are, So let's start from the right side of the time. בבקשה.
I was wondering, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
תפתח את המיקרופון ודבר בדיוק.
I was wondering whether you believe in God or not. Why or why not?
I totally believe in God. Totally believe in God.
Which one?
The only Almighty, merciful Father. Long talk. I don't know how you all feel, but you know, I talk about meditation, and I talk about diving within, transcending, the fact that transcendental meditation gives the human being access to the transcendent level of life. And sometimes these words just go in one ear and out the other, and people just go right along in the same old, same old. Sometimes it rings a bell of truth. And I look back and as I told you, I didn't have any interest in meditation. If somebody told me about the transcendent level of life, the deepest level of life, and the qualities there, all positive, I didn't have any interest. I didn't hear it. But it is truly there. If you just remember that, there is a field. Quantum physics calls it the unified field, at the base of all matter, the unity of all the particles and forces in creation. And this field of unity of all the particles and all the forces gives rise to those particles and forces. Quantum physics says it rises out in a process called spontaneous sequential symmetry breaking, implying that the unified field is perfect symmetry. It's sitting there at the base of mind and matter, eternal field, fullness, wholeness, vibrant bliss consciousness, infinite creativity, infinite love. It's got many, many, many names. The absolute, bliss consciousness, the Tao, experiencing it called samadhi. In Vedic language it's called Atma, meaning the self. There's a line that says, know thyself. It's called Brahm, totality. This self of us human beings is totality. It can be unfolded. The potential for each of us human beings is huge. Supreme enlightenment we have as our birthright. This is a field of dynamic peace. There are technologies that exist right now on Earth to enliven this field. In the individual, it leads to full potential. In a peace-creating group, enlivening the field of unity leads to peace. Peace on Earth. It's here. It's available. It's ready to go. I came here to talk about a peace-creating group for Israel. A peace-creating group. Like when you want to give electricity to people, you make an electrical plant. Generates electricity. Gets it to the people. A peace-creating group of meditators doing advanced techniques can enliven this field so powerfully that it comes into collective consciousness, like pumping it into the atmosphere. This light of unity is where all the power is that creates the universe and universes. It's real. It can be enlivened. It chases away negativity. Just as in the individual, it can do this in the world. It destroys the enmity in an enemy automatically. When the sun comes up in the morning, it doesn't have to try to remove darkness. Darkness just goes. Light of unity being enlivened, it doesn't have to try. Negativity just goes. It's a real phenomenon. eternal, immortal, immutable, unbounded, infinite field of pure bliss, power, love, peace, intelligence, creativity. It's there. Any human being can experience it and your life will get better. This is also known as the light of God, this field, the light of God. Human beings are made in the image of God. Many, many, many things to think about. There's no need to live in suffering and negativity. Not any longer. This technology is here. Please take advantage of it. Even if you don't believe it, support a peace-creating group for Israel. Keep everything else in place, all the defenses in place. Just add this group and see what happens.
Well, actually, after an answer like that, lowering the lights and not asking any more questions. But anyway, I do have a question. I saw my name is Audrey.
How you doing, Audrey?
Hi. I saw some of your talk films on Friday that was screened here at the cinematheque. And one particular one, the grandmother, the dichotomy of the emotions in that film. I was wondering since then how biographical is that film?
There's none of my films are biographical. What happens is, the only biographical element is when you catch an idea, I say it's just like catching a fish. We don't make the fish, we catch the fish. And then we maybe fall in love with the fish and we can cook it in various ways. You get an idea, and there's the idea. And you can, in the translating of the idea, it does pass through the mechanism, the machine. It passes through you to go to the cinema. And so when it passes through you, a little bit of you goes into the thing in the translation process. And a little bit of you is what makes you fall in love with one idea over another. But it's not about me, it's about the idea.
אוקיי, תודה. אנחנו נמשיך איתך, ואחר כך נעבור לצד השני.
Sorry, my Hebrews not so good. Hi, David. I'm Jordan.
How you doing, Jordan?
And I was wondering, I find your long-standing devotion to meditation quite impressive. You said 35 years?
34.
34. I was wondering, I have a lot of stress in my life, and a lot of people do in this modern, chaotic world, as you said. I was wondering if you could guide us through a crash course in transcendental meditation. How do you meditate with
Love to do it, but it takes a legitimate teacher, and the process is very easy and effortless. It's not a method of concentration. It's not a method of contemplation, which they say keeps you on the surface of life. It's a very specific teaching. If you want to learn, get a legitimate teacher of transcendental meditation as taught by Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, who has been teaching it, brought it out this time. It's an ancient form of meditation. A very specific mental technique. You're given a mantra. A mantra is a very specific sound, thought, vibration. Maharishi's mantras turn the mind, the awareness within. So we're all pointed out there. Sometimes we find happiness, but we live in a world of change and we see that happiness fade. We start looking over here for happiness. Same thing happens, then over here. When the awareness gets turned within, it naturally dies. How come? It's natural. Because each deeper level of mind, each deeper level of intellect, has more happiness. And when you transcend, you experience ocean of pure happiness, pure intelligence, creativity, all those words I said, all positive. The experiencing of that deepest level enlightens it, and you grow in that. We all have a certain amount of consciousness. Consciousness is the I-am-ness of life. Without consciousness, we don't exist. And if we did exist, we wouldn't know it. It is life itself. I am. And all tied to consciousness is happiness, intelligence, creativity, love, energy, power, in dynamic peace. These things are tied to consciousness. If our ball of consciousness is this big, it's going to stay that way. It has nothing to do with information. We try to put information into this ball of consciousness, and we think we've gained intellectual knowledge, but we haven't had this deepest experience. And we grow by experience, knowledge. When you transcend, now with brain research, they can show you that the experience of transcending is the only experience in life that lights up the full brain. Total brain coherence. We've all heard that we only use 5 or 10% of our brain. Here's an experience that utilizes full brain, which tells you something. A concentration method put onto the EEG machine, the part of the brain that deals with concentration, lit, lively, big, but no transcending. It tells you something. This is our field. No matter what form of meditation, make sure you're experiencing unbounded awareness. That way you'll grow rapidly. Each meditation from the first, you'll experience this deepest eternal level, and you'll unfold it. And unfolding that is you're unfolding your full potential. Things get better and better and better. All your work, your ideas, your enjoyment, your understanding, your awareness, your wakefulness improves. Money in the bank. People start looking familiar. The heavy weight of negativity, which I call the suffocating rubber clown suit, it starts dissolving. The whining stops. Self-assuredness, strength, inner happiness grows. Super, super beautiful.
The other side.
Hello, David.
Hello.
I am Nick. My question is, would you kindly reveal how did you create the baby picture in the razor?
How did I what?
Create.
How did I what?
Create the baby creature in razor.
You must know, I never talk about the baby.
What's the reason? What is, according to your opinion, the role of the artist or the filmmaker in this world?
What is the role of the filmmaker, to your opinion, in this world?
The role of the filmmaker is the same as the role of a painter. It's the film business they call it the film business. It should have a different name. If you're doing the film for money, so much of the things we do are for money, but we may not enjoy the doing of the thing. We're doing it for the fruit, like they say, the fruit of the action. The role of a filmmaker is just to, in my mind, have the great privilege and euphoria of translating ideas. And, ideas that can create a world that people can go into and have an experience. Here's a theater and you're going along in your world and you stop in and you sit, and the screen is giant and the sound is good, but the lights are on now and people are still seating. And then suddenly the lights dim and the curtain opens and the thing begins, and we can go into another world and only exist there because of that film. It's a magical, beautiful thing. Take people into another world and give them experiences. Take yourself into that other world and give yourself an experience. It's a magical medium. That's the role, making new worlds.
Thank you.
Hey David, my name is Samir. I'm a film student. Today was my first day.
Fantastic. Best of luck to you.
Yeah, that's what I want. Maybe you can give me a good tip, good advice. Someone just started.
Yeah, I'll tell you
first film.
I tell you, it's real good advice. Be true to yourself. Have your own voice ring out. Other things can inspire you, but find your own voice. Be true to that voice. Don't let anybody fiddle with it. Never turn down a good idea, but never take a bad idea. And be true to the ideas all the way along, every element. You'll just, and then start your transcendental meditation.
Oh, we got the holy stuff.
Hello, my name is Yoav. Can you say a few words about your work with light to make a special atmosphere and view in the film?
Work with light.
The way you work with the light.
The way, okay, well, it's different in every single, shot really, but the light gives a feeling. The light gives a feeling. And in the idea comes the feeling. So this particular scene is interior, and there's a small window, and it's getting to be dusk, and it has to have a certain feel, and a storm is coming. So there's some little bits of lightning popping. And so you just get that light, you work with your director of photography, you talk about the mood, you talk about where the light's coming from, and the feel of that light, and then you see it. In the digital world, you can see it right as you're doing it. In the film world, you used to have to wait a day before you really see it. But now we can see it as we go. So you're looking, and is this the feeling of this idea? Is this too bright? Is this too dark? And you can adjust things. And then suddenly, there is this scene, and the light is making it feel correct. Light is so much to do with mood.
Thank you. I want to add something to that question. It bothers me. I think I heard you say in one of the interviews that from now on you are not going to use any film cameras, only digital cameras. In respect to what you answered now, don't you find still that there is another magic in film chemistry, especially dealing with light, that DV cameras can't achieve yet?
Like I said, you see it right in front of you. And there is a beautiful quality to film. No two ways about it. And digital is getting better and better and better in quality, more information. And the tools to manipulate a digital image 1,000 times more than what you can do with film. So you can get a look that's extremely, good, extremely pleasing, true to the idea in digital, and it's getting better all the time. Film, the camera's huge, heavy, all the lights are big, heavy, all the dollies are huge, heavy. Every time you move, it takes forever. Film, it gets scratched, it gets dirty, it gets watermarks, it gets hair on it. No two prints in this world of film are the same. A nightmare. A nightmare. Even though it has a beautiful quality, and the film, 10-minute takes, digital, 40-minute takes. When you're working on a scene with 2 actors, and you've got 40 minutes, you can move and go and move and go, talk to the actors, start again, go, like this, and go again, and they catch a magic, because it's not broken by anything. And they can go so deep. It's such a beautiful thing. Everything about digital, it's here to stay. All sound has been digital for more than 10 years. Everybody and his little brother's got a digital camera on the street. Film is dead. It's beautiful, but it's a dinosaur. It's sinking into the tar pits. Digital.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask, when I'm watching the films, between the films that you like to exaggerate things,
I can't hear that last thing.
right? What I said, better?
Yeah.
Great. What I said is, watching the films gives me the feeling that you like to exaggerate stuff, and by that I mean that if something doesn't look good, it will definitely look ugly, and if a shot is long, and it will be exhausting. And what I wanted to ask is, does this some kind of method to show your ideas, and or is that the way you look at the world? You know, things will be longer and uglier and exhausting.
No, it comes with the idea. Like I said though, ideas are conjured, most of them, by the world. There's a lot of ugliness and there's a lot of beauty. But the idea comes with all this. This character is maybe ugly, dresses this way, talks that way. That is that character. It doesn't have anything really to do with how I see the world. That's the way the character comes, talking away, looking like that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hi, David.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? I'm hearing this. How I say this essay. I feel that creativity and spirituality are negatives.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
I think you're wrong.
Because I feel that as you go more and more spiritual, your ego goes down. On the other hand, when you get like more creative, you feel yourself with these ideas, which sometimes, or most of the time, would cause you to get full of yourself.
Yeah, I know that happens. But when you get more and more spiritual, your ego doesn't go down. Ego doesn't disappear, it gets bigger. You become more and more you. The more spiritual, the more and more you. And you're more able to fulfill your desires. Creativity flows more. And just because you create something, it doesn't mean that you're a big shot. And in fact, it's just enjoyment of the creating process. There are many people that get famous and they think they're big shots, but somewhere along the line, it becomes more spiritual. It teaches you that it's not a big shot. It's other things, inner things start growing, and everybody's jobs look better and better. This person's proud of this person's doing such great work, this person's doing such great work. It all becomes like a big world family.
Any of the recent stuff?
Huh?
You said before you didn't like any of the recent stuff.
No, but I appreciate people working and making films and expressing those ideas very, very much. And anybody that finishes a feature film and is true to their own voice is a hero in my book. But people, like I said was the other night, people who clean toilets are heroes. You know, people that do, you know, many jobs are heroes. And when you get more and more creativity, the toilet cleaning gets better and better. And people invent disinfectants, and they invent new kind of brushes, and the toilet starts sparkling. And it goes like that. People find more and more enjoyment in whatever they do. And it's not about getting a puffed up ego, it's about enjoying your work.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
I always thought of you as a director that has a vision, comes to set a vision. I wanted to ask, what is the real need for improvisation on set?
What is the real need for what?
Improvisation.
There is no need for improvisation. You come with the idea, and there's a need to rehearse. And in rehearsal, I've said this, you know, a bunch of times before. In rehearsal, the first rehearsal might be very far away from that idea, but you talk, and it gets closer, and you talk, and it gets closer. But improvisation is just turning the whole thing over to the actors. There's no idea. They come up with the idea. It doesn't have any place in this filmmaking, and it's just it's staying true to that idea, and that's how it goes, at least with me.
And things are left on set before the editing room. How do they get there?
How do they get on the editing room? Floor?
To the floor of the editing room.
Huh?
How do they get to the floor of the editing room?
Things out.
You take things out that don't work when you're dealing with the film in the final stages as a whole. You would think that the ideas and all the, you know, the script will hold together and work when the final thing is done. I don't think it's ever happened. When you start getting closer and closer to the end, you realize that some things just don't work. And those things go out. Some scenes that were 10 minutes long now become 7. Some things, like I say, that you never thought you would use now come in and save the day. It goes like that.
בצד השני.
Hey David, how are you?
Good, thanks.
I didn't see all of your films, but from the ones I did see, I was particularly impressed, among other things, from the use of sound and the role sound has in the general effect of the movie. And as a musician, I wondered what place does sound and sound effects, not necessarily music, but sound has in the process of you creating your movie, or when you envision a movie, for example, what place does the sound has in that process?
Right. Cinema is sound and picture moving together in time. Sound is so important. And like I've said before, you know, music sometimes gives us ideas. If a piece of music gives you ideas and you see a scene emerge from that music, then that music is very important to that scene when it's in the cinema form. So you find sometimes music or sounds up front, but mostly it's put together at the end of the process. And so you find those sound effects that marry to the picture. I say there are hard effects like door close, and there's libraries of many, many, many door closes. Or you can go out and record your own door close. But each door close is a little bit different. But one of those is going to sit in that picture the best. And all those effects, you go like that. Then there's sound effects that approach music. They're kind of mood things, and those things get built up to make a feeling that's true to the idea. And then there's music. You may love tons of different kind of music, but you put in the wrong music, it will kill the thing. It's better to have no music. But sometimes you find a piece of music that marries to the picture. When it marries, it jumps it so that the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. And it's an experiment, it's a feel. And lots of experimenting, you know, toward the end in the mix.
So usually the soundtrack comes after the film is complete.
Exactly.
All right, thanks a lot.
You bet.
Okay, thank you. One last question. אני מתנצל, אני מבקש לכבד את זה ולא לנסות להיות עסקן בצד הזה. כן, בבקשה. שאלה אחרונה.
How did you say it?
Hello.
I wanted to know what are your obsessions about? Like, running films. What are you doing with it?
What about?
Obsessions.
My obsessions? My obsession is right now peace, real peace on earth.
לא, ביקשו ממני פשוט, ואני מבקש לכבד את זה.
People want to know about the foundation, the David Lynch Foundation.
Pardon? The David Lynch Foundation. Okay, I'll tell you.
No, I wasn't asked.
Okay.
My name is Sami, and I realized that I have a kind of birthday today because exactly today, 24 years ago, I got my mantra.
Fantastic.
And I want to ask for a present for my village. I live in Havarit, which is used to be a meditative place, until a year ago when it was open to everybody because we were too small. But now we have wonderful people around us that we want them to be meditators too, but they are very poor and they just build their house and they don't have money to learn meditation. So my question is, can they be on the foundation too, or only students? It's only for students.
David Lynch Foundation will send me money.
Okay. I think that with this optimistic news, we can conclude this session. I want to first, of course, thank very, very much Mr. David Lynch for coming. Secondly, to remind you that those of you who will always buy tickets, we'll have a new Q&A for So we'll have a short introduction by David Lynch before Ross Highway. See you. Thank you.